something from the inside of the swamp wedged the poles down, the part that had the barbed wire.
You may not know this, but Marie started her journey in paranormal research.
And I took a picture, and there's a figure.
Oh.
You can see a figure behind me.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got an epic show ahead, but just remember, if any of you have experiences you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. You can either email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com or head over to paranormalportal.net. Scroll down and find the button that says Interview Me, and that'll allow you to look at a calendar of possible times and dates and find a date that works for you. Love to hear your stories, so definitely get in touch with me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a great show lined up for you today. We are in Vernal, Utah as we speak. Not when you're hearing this, of course, but you'll never guess who we ran into all the way over in Vernal, Utah. And that is the lovely and wonderful Marie Dumont, who is here. She traveled all the way from Florida to come up here, guys. So it was great to bump into Marie, and she's sitting down with us to talk about their ongoing research in Florida with the skunk ape and Bigfoot. And also, you may not know this, but Marie started her journey in paranormal research. So, Marie, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's good to see you guys.
I was thrilled to see you.
Yes, but I was hoping you were going to be here.
But not surprised, because you really do cross the nation going to these conferences. Mm-hmm. I follow you on Facebook, of course, and I see your postings. So you're here, you're there.
Right.
So it was neat to see that you were here, and it's fun to bump into you.
Always.
Yeah.
Always a treat.
What's been going on in Florida lately? It's been a while since we talked. So.
Yeah, so I talked to you last year.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of stuff going on. Mm-hmm. We have our active research area that we, first of all, I'm located in Central Florida, for those who don't know, and my group is the Mid-Florida Bigfoot Research Group. And so generally, we have about 10 to 12 different locations that we go to. We just monitor. We just, check on them every couple months or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so our main investigation areas are like the Green Swamp, the Everglades, outside of Hillsborough County, which is outside of Tampa, Pasco County, which is north of Tampa. And so that's our primary areas, but we've also been to Mayaca. I love Ocala National Forest. That's another place that I like to go to, which is a hot spot for sure. And I've been up north Florida, done some research and stuff. So anyway, since I last talked to you, so we've been really monitoring our active research area.
Sure.
Because we constantly find new things, which is really interesting. Yeah. So since I saw you guys last, I'll just give you an idea of some of the things that we've been finding. Yeah. So I'll start off with the trail cams. Okay. So I set up a couple trail cams we have a gifting spot in our active area. And so I put up some trail cams, and the activity really kind of like died there because of the cameras are there. Oh, really? So then I moved the cameras about 100, 150 feet away from the gifting area along this. There's two ways you can get to our research area. Okay. And so I put one on one end, one on the other end, because I also want to see if any humans are walking into that area, right? So in about a 4-month time period, I saw a mother and her daughter walking their dog. Wow. In there. But the other one was 2 sheriff officers with a canine dog. Oh, really? Walking out of our area. Oh. Okay. And that's really suspicious. So you didn't see them go in? No, because my other camera, that's another thing. Okay. Malfunctioned. Oh, no. Okay. Got zapped. Both of them. Sure. Got zapped. Recently. So anyway, so it's interesting because the one sheriff officer, he's standing right in front of my trail cam and he doesn't see it. And he's
looking around.
He's like looking over his shoulder like he's paranoid.
Huh. Oh,
why is he paranoid?
Does he feel someone's watching him maybe?
And then the other guy's walking by with the canine and I'm like, what the heck?
Right.
Our sheriff officer is doing with the canine in our area.
Right.
Now our area backs up to a subdivision.
Oh,
I see. Okay.
So some people are like, oh, maybe he's, they're doing missing persons. No, that ain't it.
Okay.
But what I really think is happening is the neighbors that live there, the people probably have heard howling, screams, or something, probably called the sheriffs and said, hey, there's something in the swamps back here. Sounds like a woman screaming, whatever it is.
Sure.
To me, that's probably why they were in there.
Sure.
They probably got reports of sounds.
Right. And they may have come through the subdivision as opposed to through your loops.
Right.
Oh, very interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I think it is. Some people are like, oh, maybe he's looking for drugs or whatever. Not.
Yeah.
I don't believe that in that particular. And I keep saying that's because of the area that we're in.
Right.
I can't say too much about it, but
sure, I understand.
People who go back there are like, are you kidding me? Because it's so close to the houses.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
So anyway, in a 4-month time period, a woman, her daughter, and a dog, and 2 sheriff officers with a canine.
Right.
That's it.
Wow.
So recently, we went back out there about 3 weeks ago. Both of my trail cams zapped.
Wow.
Something zapped both of them.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I got, it said firmware doesn't exist.
Oh, so it's not just a draining of the battery. It zapped it.
It zapped both. One camera, okay, that's a coincidence, right?
Sure.
But when both of them, they're 100 yards apart from each other, both of them got zapped.
Right.
That's incredible.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So that's kind of suspicious.
And so you say zap, so did it just affect the electronics or did it affect the memory cards inside? Did you still have...
I still had images.
There you go. Okay.
But I couldn't turn it on.
Right.
Because they were zapped. And it took quite a bit of... I had to change batteries, I had to do this, do that, and finally it popped on. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Okay.
And
so it didn't totally kill him.
It didn't totally.
It just reset everything to a blank.
Everything, the date, the time, everything was like totally
factory reset.
Zapped, correct. It was like a factory reset.
Right.
But it said the firmware didn't exist.
Wow.
On both of them.
Wow.
Very weird. So, about 6 months ago, we were in our area. And there's a chain link fence that separates properties.
Right.
And so they're near our gifting area, maybe 50 feet, 75 feet. All of a sudden, something bent the fence down. So the fence had barbed wire across the top, like 3 or 4 strands of barbed wire. And so you've got, these are chain link fence, that's galvanized steel.
Right.
Those poles are rock solid.
Right.
Sure.
Something from the inside of the swamp bent the poles down. The part that had the barbed wire. It was just bent totally in half. There's 3 of them. And the fence has been pressed down like something has stepped on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now there's a big game trail.
Oh, geez.
Where that fence was bent down.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Because everything can get through there now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything can get through
Anything
there now.
So it's kind of like, something wants to get over the fence. Crap, I got to deal with this barbed wire. Here, let me just bend it and, bend the post to get it out of the way. Yeah. And then
stomp
it down. So we're looking around. We're like, okay, what... got that fence down. There's no trees.
Right.
There's no big trees fell over on the fence. Nothing. There's like one branch about 10 feet away that's about this big. Would not impact
2 or 3
a galvanized steel.
Right.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing. But this past weekend, team member Mike went out Friday night to put some goodies in our gifting area. And because we were going out Saturday morning with David Shealy, the skunk expert from the Everglades, he came up. And he's an honorary member of our team. We go down there, investigate, or he comes up to our area and investigates. Right. So we took him to that spot. So Mike put out bait, basically, Friday, because we were going out Saturday. So go out Saturday, and right in the gifting spot is a little tiny X.
Oh, wow.
Structure that's about 12 inches tall.
So really diminutive.
In the middle of our gifting spot.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nobody noticed it because it's so little, you know? And I'm like, there's an X there. And the guys were like, what? And I'm like, look at this. And they're like, oh my God. Yeah. That is. And they've been broken sticks in an X.
And for our listeners, what you may not be familiar with, or if you haven't listened to part one, is that the structures that they're finding in Florida are not these big, ornate, several feet, or 10, 20 feet structures that are common in other parts of the country, because a lot of the plant life in these swamp areas is very small. So they do find structures, so that is consistent, but it's made with what's available, and these are much smaller that they find in Florida. So just to clarify that for any of you out there listening.
Yeah, because definitely when you're dealing in a swamp, it's mostly cypress.
Right.
And so those trees are very, they're tall and thin, and their branches, everything, like you said, the building materials.
Right.
Our building materials are smaller, more brittle.
Stunted growth.
Stunted, it's just easily broken, so you're not going to find these giant teepee structures that you find like in Minnesota or, Pacific Northwest or something. Ours are going to be smaller, or they're going to be made out of palm fronds instead of sticks, branches, limbs. And so, because I found in Mayaca a tiny teepee structure that was 2 feet tall.
Oh, neat. So interesting that even though they're much smaller, they're still building the same structures.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's consistent.
Correct. But on a much smaller scale.
Yeah. That's impressive.
It's like way markers. They all know the same. It's like the language. Yeah. This is where we are.
Yeah.
Go this way. Yeah, exactly. Like, the hobos. Ride
hobo
the trains.
Markings.
Yeah, hobo markings. Exactly. Yeah. They all speak the same language. It's kind of cool.
It is.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, so much smaller scale, but they do the same kind of things. You just have to be really aware of that.
Right.
You have to know
you're not. If you're from the Pacific Northwest, you go to Florida to research. You're not going to find anything.
Why can't I find anything in the trees? Because there's no damn trees.
Yeah, you're not going to find anything up in a tree. Typically,
Sure.
But you may find teeny tiny things or things, like I said, made out of palm fronds instead of sticks or whatever.
Right.
But there's distinct patterns, designs.
Yeah.
And that's what I look at, because I'm a very creative, artistic person, so that kind of stuff sticks out to me.
Right.
I'm like, no, that's not natural.
Right.
That's a design, that's an asterisk, or it's a teepee, or it's an X, or, so a month and a half ago in our research area, came across this stick lying on the ground, pretty big, probably 7 feet long stick, with 3 sticks laying perfectly next to each other.
Wow.
Parallel to each other.
Right. Interesting.
They're all pointing one way. And they're perfectly laid out.
Wow.
And again, that's by our research area. But that's probably 50 feet from our gifting spot.
So it had a stick going on the bottom and then three jutting up.
Like an E laying on its side.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's interesting to me. And if you don't mind, there's an ancient alphabet of the Druids called the Ogam. And I think I'm pronouncing that right. I might be brutalizing the hell out of it, but it's basically that kind of language where there'd be a base of some kind in different lines, or lengths of lines, and closer together, farther together, and that was their alphabet. So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if there would be any Wow, I mean, it's a stretch, but it's interesting, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Because also in our research area, probably over a year and a half ago, there were these 2 long sticks that are about 8 to 10 feet long, shoved in the ground from the side at about a 30-degree angle.
Oh, wow.
So that's not tree fall.
Right.
A branch from a tree is going to go straight down, and if it's going to impale itself, it's going to be straight up and down.
Right.
It's not going to be shoved in the ground at a 30, 35-degree angle.
Yeah,
and because if something fell, you would be able to, even if it did fall over, you would see it hit, and then you would see it, but if something's shoved in, it's got that trajectory.
Right.
It's not going to stick and then
tip over. Yeah.
It's like a footprint, when they smudge it. You put your foot down, you smudge it. Same kind of idea, yeah.
Yeah, so there's 2 of them shoved in the ground next to each other.
Wow.
Then 6 months ago, a third one was added. So now there's 3.
In that same area, huh?
Same spot. So, right next to each other.
Fascinating.
So, is that a new member of the tribe or something? Because it's 3 sticks, and then the 3.
I wonder if it's like a mating
ground.
couple. And then the couple had one, and they added that to the family lineage.
It's like the stickers on the back of cars. With
Exactly,
the stick figures, mom and dad. And
with the dog man chasing them.
The whole family, mom, dad, and all the kids.
Right.
Yeah, that's what you tend to think about out there. Because it's like, okay, why were there 2 before?
Right.
Now there's a third.
That is fascinating.
And then there's the other stick. Now there's 3 sticks.
That's cool.
Interesting.
So, we don't know. Nobody knows what any of this means, but we can speculate, and it's like, maybe that is what's happening out here.
That's incredible.
Well, at least the community's growing.
Yeah.
You'll have lots of research for time to come.
Are you noticing more activity? Is the activity level going up, or is it consistent, or what is your take on this in your research?
Well, in this spot, it's probably getting a little more active.
Okay.
A little more active in this one spot. Everything else, all the other places, activity comes and goes.
Okay.
Problem is, in Florida in the summertime, it's all water, right? We get rains, so the swamps fill up.
Right.
So that it's much harder
to get
out, to do research or whatever, unless you want to walk through, moccasin-infested water, which is not my favorite thing in the world, but I've done that before.
Wow.
So, but in our active area, that's picking up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's been picking up. That's a little more active than it has been in the past, which is good for us.
Yeah, it is.
And it's fascinating.
Right. Real quick, you talk about gifting. What things do you gift? Obviously, you don't feed. You gift, right?
We feed. Well, we feed.
Okay.
There's people who don't agree with that. I'm not typically a big fan of that, but
sure,
we have, we get things when we do that.
Yeah.
So you tend to continue to
do what works.
Things to do what works, right?
Right.
Even though I'm not crazy about gifting.
Well, fruits
people are
and
against
vegetables and things like that,
Yeah,
I can
but
understand,
we're
but not
not
like
giving-
Twinkies and.
But we're doing Reese's peanut butter cups,
Okay.
And I know,
Well,
it's not a good thing, but
it is what it is.
we're getting some interesting results.
Right. And the thing is that I think where people really run into problems is when it becomes regular for them, like it becomes a normal feed station.
Yeah, no.
And you're not doing
not
it to
normal.
that.
So it's infrequently.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's
gotcha.
infrequently. We're not always doing it. Sometimes, Ruby makes muffins or something, and she'll put them in a baggie and set them out there, so they have to
open
things.
They have to articulate
stuff like
that.
Have you been able to retrieve any of the plastic bag, and have you been able to get anything off the plastic bags?
No.
Like fingerprints or anything, huh?
No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Dang it.
Now what we've had is there's like a little paper insert on a Reese's peanut,
right.
Reese's cups,
Right.
So we have like a tooth.
Right. Oh,
Like
so like they
something bit the
didn't
paper.
pull it out and they just put it in.
They just ate with the paper.
Wow.
And there's like a bite mark. There's like an impression
Well, that's kind of cool, though.
of something that ate the paper.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We did have a hair, but the hair got lost. Unfortunately, one hair
Oh boy.
was on there.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
But, I
unfortunately.
mean, it sounds like you're probably going to have a lot more opportunities to collect those hairs.
Absolutely.
Did I ever tell you about the teddy bear? We have a teddy bear out there also in the gifting area.
Oh, is it a little dog, like a stuffed teddy bear?
That's stuffed teddy
Oh,
bear,
cute.
right?
Okay.
So, why not, right?
Right.
You put out stuff, see what happens.
Right.
So, when we first put out the teddy bear, I think it was probably the first time when we went back like 3 weeks later, the teddy bear obviously fell over. That's fine. Anything could have done that. Except the tag on the teddy bear was ripped off
Really?
and then ripped in half.
Oh.
You know how hard it is to
Those-
rip off
Oh, the
white
little,
tag
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
on
they're-
stuffed animals?
Yeah, they're tough.
They're hard.
There's like
You typically have to cut them.
scissors, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
You
think
typically
I
can't.
couldn't tear them.
You couldn't just rip it. So something ripped it off
and then tore it in half.
and then
Wow.
ripped the tag in
Wow.
half and left it on the ground. So that's cool.
Oh. That's interesting. I wonder if that's symbolic of anything, like,
I don't know.
because this bear was marked with that tag, it didn't like that and
Yeah,
took it
right?
off, you know?
Maybe.
Didn't look natural.
Like it thought it,
Yeah.
it didn't look natural. Maybe thought it was hurt or
Right.
something. You don't know.
Like that
what
Rip
this
off the
is.
Band-Aid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's
That's
really
interesting.
cool.
Yeah.
Fascinating, yeah, really fascinating.
And
So-
then the time that I think I told you this last time about the eggshell, the chicken egg.
I don't know if I remember, but I'm sorry if I'm not.
So when
remembering.
we're dealing in the swamps down in Florida, we have new cypress trees will come up like what's called a cypress knee. They're like spikes.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like spikes out of the ground and then it just grows up, right?
okay.
So in our gifting area, something had left a chicken egg
Right on the spike.
on top of a cypress knee, which was about 2 feet tall.
Right.
So it was cracked open. It wasn't.
It was cracked open, like something cracked,
Sucked it open.
stuck it
Oh,
on
neat.
top
Right.
at our gifting area.
That's probably not a raccoon then.
No.
I mean,
no.
raccoons do eat eggs, and
Sure,
they'll
but they don't-
do that kind of thing, but
He would have to crawl
why
up
would
2
they
foot in the water.
would
prop
just-
it up on top
Yeah.
of a cypress knee in our gifting area?
Right, they would
Now,
just-
there is a chicken coop about 100 yards away.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So if that was a raccoon, he would have had to break into the coop, get the egg,
Oh, so you
walk all the way 100 yards to our gifting
A
area,
raccoon wouldn't do that though.
No.
and
He'd
then
just
put
eat
it on top. They're just going to eat it there.
Yeah, they're just going to eat it.
They're not going to carry it
Yeah.
Right.
over there.
Yeah.
So
That's really cool.
yeah, it's really cool.
That
So
was
that was
placed.
there for a while.
That
It
was
was there, and
placed.
we were like, "Oh my God!" Ruby saw it. She's like, "Check this out. What's that over there?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, it's a chicken egg."
That's crazy.
So it's like something like bit the end off it, sucked it out, and then
left it.
just stuck the egg shut.
So you didn't provide the egg. It just
No.
found the egg from that coop.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that even makes it more compelling. It's like,
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah. It knows where the food source is.
Well, I'm thinking about that chicken
yeah,
coop
the chicken coop that we had. Yeah.
that we investigated, and there was no leaf litter or no feather litter.
No feather litter.
But they went from 30 chickens down to 9, and there's a little tear in the side of the thing, like arm size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something just
Yeah,
reached in
there-
and grabbed it.
And you know when a coyote or a wolf or something grabs on, the chicken throws feathers
Oh, yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Right.
as
No
they're getting
feathers.
killed.
Right.
No feathers. It's
Nothing.
like
No bones, no
it's
nothing.
like they just
right?
Nothing.
reached
Just
in,
gone.
maybe wrung its neck right there, and just kind of pulled it through, so it didn't.
Yeah.
Like no blood, no feathers, no nothing.
Yeah.
So
right.
that does seem intelligent, though, right? Because it's any other animal will eat where it kills.
Right.
Then it might carry away, but you're going to still see a kill area.
Right.
But whatever happened, it took these chickens, and we checked the woods around it. It carried it for a while. If wherever it ended up discarding it or chewing on it, we couldn't find.
Right.
So that to me is incredible. But
Right.
that does seem consistent with that behavior, right?
It's wild food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
But that's an
Opportunists.
intelligence. It's
Right.
an intelligence
Opportunists.
too. They don't leave any trace. They just take what they want and they go to where maybe where they feel it's safe, and then they eat. So.
And it's interesting because, there are times when we go out, we go off trail, we're out. But the majority of our activity that we ever find isn't too far from people, where people live or whatever. They're opportunists, right? So they're going to go through people's garbage cans.
Yep.
Absolutely.
They're going to go through your yard looking for something to eat, whether it's maybe bird seed or garden or whatever.
Right.
So, to me, you don't have to go deep in the woods to look for creatures.
Well, and then you also have like those reports out of like Chicago and stuff, in the abandoned places in Chicago. They've allegedly have seen, Bigfoot going through dumpsters and things like that on the outskirts of town, granted, but still, they're not afraid of civilization. Mm-hmm. They're just very smart and very weary of what it means and what can happen. So,
But they're definitely opportunists. They're going to go through the dumpster just like a black bear.
Sure. I know all about those.
Yeah, I do too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So now I do want to take some time and talk about this paranormal investigating that you used to do.
Yes.
And are you still actively doing it, or is this more?
Yes.
Okay. Very cool.
I do it when I can, when I get the opportunity. It's just nowadays it's getting to be harder and harder and harder to find locations that you can actually go investigate.
Right. Yes.
Back in the day, it was a little more open and people were like free, like, hey,
urban
you want to check out a place?
stuff,
Come on in, Well, now it's like everybody wants money, or they don't want people in there at all.
Right.
Some of these big ghost groups, they're afraid their place is going to get trashed. Or something's going to get stolen,
Yeah.
Especially if you're talking like a museum or some kind of historic location. So it's getting harder. But yes, if I get the opportunity to go, yes, I will go. It all started out with ghost hunting for me.
That's what I find is interesting. And that's great because I think sometimes the parallels between some of the Bigfoot phenomena and the ghost phenomena is very intriguing to me. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to necessarily get into the woo, but you can't really have looked into the phenomena of Bigfoot and not run into the woo part of it. I mean, the reports are everywhere that I just don't know what to do with. But yeah, I can see where one would definitely be a natural transition to the other in many ways. But what have your experiences been with the paranormal investigating?
Oh my gosh, I have so many stories. I've been doing this for over 30 years.
Sure.
So there's all kinds of fun stories. Because, that's how I got into this. Okay, ghosts, did all that. Then you start hearing about aliens and UFOs.
Sure.
And it's like, there's similarities.
Right.
Both involve orbs.
Right.
You may see shadow figures and stuff like that. So there's similarities. It's like, that's interesting. And then when I got into Bigfoot, started to reading and hearing things, I'm like, same thing. You see the same kind of things as you do as when you're ghost hunting.
Right.
You can get EVPs when you're, doing Bigfoot research. We have.
Yeah.
We've probably gotten at least 9 to 10 EVPs in the frickin' swamp.
Wow.
Or the Everglades. Mm-hmm. Places that you would never think in a million years that there's ever been a human out there.
Right.
But
it's an interesting thing where you can hide bodies.
So it's fascinating that all three phenomena they're all similar. They all have a similar thing. So when I'm Bigfoot researching, with my team, we are not looking for paranormal evidence.
Right.
It's just happening.
Yes.
And any researcher that says, oh, nothing ever happens when I go out, I think they're lying because we don't try. Yeah. And we get stuff happening.
I think maybe it's just experience. Even if
they're very closed-minded,
right?
Where they just think, oh, it's an ape, and it can not possibly be anything else.
Right.
So, but I have a very open mind.
Mm-hmm.
I find it fascinating. But I'm not going to sit there and say, oh no, I'll just, I'm a Bigfoot researcher. There cannot possibly be any paranormal stuff out here.
And
no.
That's a great point, too, because I think Don is right, that I think since there's correlations, but not only with the activity, but your ability to receive that information. Because when you're paranormal investigating, I mean, we obviously don't see spirits very much, if at all. Like I've only seen that person once in my life, but I've experienced lots of activity. But you get that other vibe after a while of walking through haunted places.
Oh yeah, you can
feel when something changes, like bam, like
exactly.
that. And I think that's consistent with the Bigfoot activity.
Right.
Not that they're the same thing, and I don't mean to imply that, but it is. We are a big part of our investigating. Your personal ability to perceive what's going on around you. So paranormal investigating, you have to be wide open. You have to be open to the possibilities.
So like a parallel would be like when you're in the swamp Bigfooting, right? And everything goes quiet. You know, same thing with, you know, people have reported, you know, they're out investigating, they don't see anything, but they feel that they got that sixth sense going about, they feel somebody watching. Yep. There's studies that say that we can perceive people watching us while we're asleep.
Yeah. Yep.
So, you know, so those are correlations that are for both, you know, Bigfoot and ghosts and spirits.
Tampa Ghost Watchers.
Okay.
Because I thought, this is great. I could be with a group and go investigate, blah, blah, blah. So this guy contacted our group and said, hey, we live in a haunted house. Can you guys come out? So I got picked to be the lead investigator, to pick my own team to go check it out. And the homeowner and I, we hit it off. We're best friends now. But she lived in a haunted house, very haunted house, and it was located in Odessa, Florida. Okay. And it's a location where Al Capone used to go to that house because in the wintertime he had a house in Odessa, Florida.
Right.
Okay.
That he would come down. So the family that used to live there used to own a brewery company. So Capone used to go to that. Yeah. He used to go to that house, the mansion at the time, and in the bar, they play cards, they used to bootleg whiskey and all that crap. But if you played cards with them and you couldn't pay, they shot you in the head and they threw you in the lake behind her house.
Oh my God.
So her house location, incredible.
Right.
She would see shadow figures. I've seen shadow figures. Going to her house was like going to Disney World.
Wow.
It was like, yay, I get to go to her house. I can't wait because something always happened there. Wow. I've had every possible experience you could think of at her house.
Wow.
Shadow figures, stuff moving, chairs moving by themselves. I mean, some playing with my hair, touching my leg. I mean, you name it, it's happened. And I captured even a photo. I was taking a picture. I was on the second floor in a mirror, looking in a mirror. And I took a picture, and there's a figure. Like, you can see a figure behind me. Which is awesome.
That is awesome.
And so, what a great place. Oh my God. There was one time her and I were in the kitchen, and right next to the kitchen area was a play area. And that's where all the kids' toys were. So her and I are talking 1:30 in the morning. Everybody's asleep. Nobody's up. All of a sudden, the toys start going off. One by one. Right. Like something's going through and just touching them. Because you have to touch them to turn them on.
Right, sure.
So every one of them started going off. And we just look at each other and we're just like, oh my God, this is so awesome. So, yeah, all the toys are going off and we're just like dying. And what a fun place.
That sounds really cool.
That was so much fun.
I've always wondered though, like you're talking about the mirror, you know, if you're looking in a mirror and is it actually behind you or is it looking at you from the mirror? Like a portal.
I got the impression it was behind
you.
Me.
Right.
I think because there was a rail.
Right.
A stair rail.
Sure.
I think.
Sure.
So it could have been in the mirror, but I got the impression
Because, they talk about how mirrors attract spirits.
Portals.
Exactly. And people used to, during 3 days after a death, they'd put, or 3 days, they'd put them on, and then 3 days later, they'd take them off after a death.
Covering mirrors.
Or a viewing in the house, the parlor.
Okay.
They'd cover the mirrors for 3 days so they didn't.
That's the kind of house this was, too, because there was their ballroom area was where when somebody died, that's where they laid the bodies out.
Yeah.
Where they,
They
so
had
the house had dead bodies in it.
Oh, yeah.
And,
yeah.
And it has a very gangster energy there. You have a Capone going there.
Right.
Sure.
And so one of the things, so I brought a team in there, right? And I picked this mother and her son. The son was probably 18 years old. He was in a bad car accident, and ever since then he's had these incredible abilities.
Yeah.
So I liked these. I liked them. I wanted them on my team to go to her house.
Right.
Brought them to the house, and so we're all just like sitting around, and he starts talking, but he sounds like he's doing a fake gangster thing. Like, yo, lo, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what is wrong with him?
Yeah.
And I was getting mad because it sounded fake to me.
Like he was mocking.
Like he was mocking
the process,
acting like a gangster.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was apologizing to the homeowner. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with this kid.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill him. And I asked his mother, I'm like, what is he doing? She's like, I have no idea what he's doing. Well, what was happening was he was channeling.
Right.
Yes,
He was channeling.
Yep.
He's never done that before.
Oh, dear.
He channeled twice that evening. One was a gangster named Riff. And later on, he channeled one of her best friends that died.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's confirmation.
Yeah, because he was kind of talking a little more like a girl. And he was saying certain things. And again, I went and I apologized to my friend. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with him. She's like, hold on now. She goes, the things he's saying are exactly what my friend used to say. The exact same phrases he said. Which is what she used to say.
So she cued right in on that.
So he picked up on her. He picked up on this gangster named Rick. So we did some, there were some people on my team that did research, and they found a gangster name. I think his name was Raf.
Right.
Oh,
like Raphael and
something. Yeah. It was very similar.
Nice.
And I'm like, oh my God, I bet you that's who he was channeling.
Right.
No kidding.
But many psychics have been in that house, and they all say that mirror is a portal.
Oh,
Every
there you go.
single one of them have said that.
There you go. Yep.
Now, there was a really fascinating EVP that was captured there by some other ghost guy. This guy, he was mentally challenged, but he loved ghost hunting. So she, would feel bad. She would invite him over to the house to do some EVP work, right? And he got some crazy EVPs, and I don't think he knows he got crazy EVPs. Because what was said on the EVP by this had a gangster sound to it.
Right.
This guy's an effing idiot. Is what came through. And he was like, shut the F up.
Really?
Oh, yeah, clear as a bell. And I'm like, oh, my God, I hope to God this kid did not hear what was said to him on the EVP. You're an effing idiot. That came out clear as a bell.
Classic.
Yeah. So,
wow.
That house is crazy. I've seen shadow figures outside. She won't, go out on the left-hand side of her house because she sees the shadows.
Oh.
She sees all the shadows.
Is that where the swamp is back there, or
well,
whatever?
The lake is right behind her house.
Yeah. Right.
So they're probably just wandering around, right?
Right.
Sure.
So fascinating stuff.
And who knows how many? I mean.
Correct.
Yeah.
Don't know how many were shot and thrown in the lake behind the house.
Half of Chicago's probably buried in there.
Exactly. That house has a basement that's been sealed up with concrete.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
They tried to get a jackhammer.
Right.
They could only go like this far.
Wow.
They could not get through that concrete.
That's one block then, huh? One solid block.
So
Yeah,
we
I
don't
wonder.
know. We always kid about Hoffa being in there.
Well, yeah, I was thinking tunnels because of
You're
bootlegging.
talking Capone, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
anything's possible.
Well,
and why is that basement sealed with concrete?
Well, it could just be, Al Capone's vault, just
We don't
dirty
know.
pair of underwear. And
We
they're
tried
all
to get in
going,
there.
"Oh."
We tried.
Yeah.
We could not get in there.
I wonder if there's a subterranean way to get in, if there's like an escape route.
Yeah, we were wondering. There's
Like
got to
if they
be
busted
a tunnel
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Never been.
Basements in Florida are not common at
No.
all
Well,
because
yeah,
of the
because of the
water,
water. Yeah.
level.
No.
But if
So-
you've got that much cement,
Yeah, there's a lot of cement.
there's a good possibility there's
It's
something
underneath
down
the
there.
stairs on this little closet area. You go in there, and there it is.
Look at that.
And
Wow.
oh yeah, hmm
That's pretty incredible. And I know.
and that was near where the guy was channeling.
sure.
He was channeling right by there.
I've been in other houses that were from Capone's era, and they all had secret passages and
Right.
just some of the neatest, architecturally layouts ever. But they were so creative. So
Yeah.
it
And the
doesn't seem
closet.
like
How
one
to
way in.
distract the eye and,
Yeah.
The closets have little secret compartments.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can like knock on the wall,
Yeah.
and you'd think you'd find it, and you'd pop it open and be like a little compartment about 10 inches,
Right.
10 by 10,
Yep.
where they were, stashing cash, probably
Sure.
guns or whatever.
Right. And
So her house was fun.
Wow.
That would
Her
be a
house
fun
was
house.
a blast.
Wow.
It was, just all kinds of activity. I used to try to spend the night there
Oh, yeah.
occasionally.
Uh,
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen. The last time I was there, I was in one of the bedrooms, and I'm just like, I could not sleep whatsoever. I was just I think I was picking up on the energy. I think it was the energy.
Yep.
All of a sudden, now she had 2 wooden closet doors, heavy,
Right.
the solid wooden ones. The closet doors were closed. Something in the middle of the night, bam!
Ooh.
Hit the door. I mean, like they slammed their fist on the door.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh my God, what was that? Of course, I wasn't sleeping already, but I'm like, great. Like, oh, that's creepy.
Not sleeping tonight.
Now I'm really not going to sleep. It was like a man took their fist as hard as they could, and they just punched that door,
That's
that
incredible.
closet door.
Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many locations like that around. How many locations would you say you investigated? I mean, if you could throw a ballpark figure at it.
Probably 25.
25? That's good. That's really
At
good.
least, because I used to go to Savannah all the time.
Oh, Georgia. Okay.
Yeah, Savannah is the most haunted city, and you could, the whole historic area. Everything is haunted because everything was built on top of dead bodies
Right.
back in the times of the war.
Right.
It's by the river, so everything
Yeah.
is haunted there.
Mm-hmm.
So her and I would always go there every year
Oh,
and
yeah.
go ghost hunt, go in the cemeteries and
Right.
stuff. Bonaventure Cemetery.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you still do it though, because I think it's something that I'm really excited to be doing now as well. I really enjoy getting out there and finding evidence and finding the anomalies when they happen. It's it's a roll of the dice.
Absolutely.
But when you hit it, it's really exciting.
No, it's just, it's amazing.
It
It's
really
like,
is.
wow.
Yeah.
That's, same thing as going Bigfoot, doing Bigfoot research. It's like a treasure hunt, right?
Yep.
You're just hoping to find something on the field, or when you're ghost hunting, you're hoping you're going to get some really cool thing that happens.
Yep.
I went into one of my favorite places to investigate was an insane asylum
Ooh.
in Bartonville, Illinois.
Wow.
Years ago, there used to be a compound out there,
Oh, okay.
but the main building, huge, it looked like an asylum, right? They used to do ghost tours there, where $20 for 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
wow.
Bargain.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
and so there's this ghost company group or whatever. They take you around and they tell you the stories and they give you the equipment and you can just
Oh, neat.
free for all, right? You're going in the lobotomy room. You're going in. I was like in hog heaven. I'm like, oh my God, this is where they actually used to do lobotomies and all their creepy experiments and stuff, right?
Right.
And so there I was picking up some stuff. And my favorite part was, there was a couple things, but like, let's talk about the basement. The basement in this insane asylum was where they kept the kids.
Oh, yeah.
From the mothers that were in the insane asylum.
Oh, no.
Sad, right?
Yeah, so tragic.
So their mothers are in the insane asylum.
Can't care for
babies and kids are in the basement. So I was walking through with the most gigantic, heavy flashlights that you hold on top.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And I'm just walking along, and something bumped the flashlight and moved my arm that much.
Wow.
When I was like, whoa, kind of like a mischievous kid just whack it.
Right.
You know, like running by and whacking it. Yeah. And my arm actually went up. And I'm like, whoa, this is weird,
That's pretty profound. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Right.
The third floor was the best, though. The third floor, they took us up there, and they're telling a story about somebody who hung themselves on a staircase or something, and I was just kind of bored with that story because I wanted to go around. Yeah. And I kept feeling I was really interested about something at the end of the hall. Don't know what it was, but there was something at the end of the hall I really wanted to go to. So when she finished her story,
down the hallway,
I asked her, I said, what's at the end of the hall? And she's like, oh, that's George.
George.
I'm like, who's George? Ooh, he's not nice. He's really nasty. Bad. Let's go see George.
Right.
So everybody's like, oh crap. So here I am. Come on, let's go. Let's go see George. So we go to the end of the hall. We go in the room. We have the spirit box going. And so I asked one question. I said, can you tell us who's here with us? George, clear it that loud. Came through the spirit box like that, no hesitation, nothing. And I was like, wow.
That's epic.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That fast, one question. I was in there 30 seconds. And I got, George, that loud. And I'm like, okay, George, I'm Marie. I introduced myself, can you do something? I'd love to see you. Can you touch me? Can you do whatever? So this is what it felt like. This is what he did to me. Okay, I'm going to show you.
Ran his fingers up your head.
This hard.
Yeah.
Wow. He had his whole hand, and I was like, oh.
You could feel his hand go all the way up.
Oh yeah.
From the
My hair did not move.
Oh.
But that's what I felt.
Wow. Okay.
Because I was like, oh my God. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. So here he's probably thinking, he's going to scare me.
Right.
I'm going to go running off screaming, and I'm like,
do it again.
I'm like, yes, that was awesome. I loved it. Do it again. He's like, oh crap. And so, but that was amazing. That's like the best actual being touched thing I've ever had.
Wow.
My hair did not move.
Right.
But that's exactly what it felt like. The sensation was the whole hand hard.
Right.
Just as hard as he could through my hair. So
you're cut from a different kind of steel, Marie.
Steel, yeah.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Wow.
So,
well, it's been a lot of fun to talk to you.
No,
thank you so much for taking some of the time away from the conference to sit down with us.
Of course.
And it's been great to walk down the road again with you and to hear about this other aspect that we don't get to hear about much from you or about you.
Yeah. So. And I'm not, again, I'm just going to say this. We are not woo-woo researchers when we're doing Bigfoot, right? We are not.
Yes.
I don't want anybody to think that about me or my team. Yep. But things happen out there.
Sure. Absolutely.
And
they don't have
can't
to
deny it.
They don't have to be related at all. They're just separate
They don't
instances.
have to, but they could be related.
Sure enough.
you know, because no one knows,
right.
you know, and one thing I always say is, you know, I personally think that they may have special abilities that we would consider supernatural.
Right. Sure.
Paranormal.
Right.
You know, when people say, oh, I saw a Bigfoot cloak, maybe they can.
Yeah.
To us, that would be, but that's just a natural ability that they have. We don't know.
Right. And I think that's a good take, is we don't know.
We don't know.
And oftentimes we insert our own biases onto this. So I think the only way to really objectively research is without those biases. Just whatever you perceive in the field is what's happening. So
that's the only way you'll figure out the puzzle.
Right. Because, you know, our visual acuity and our hearing acuity, our audio acuity is just not up to stuff with any other creature on the face of the earth. So, you know, I mean, it's just may just be something that we just can't perceive.
Like, maybe the ability to cloak, disappear, to...
And maybe it's not
turn
really,
an orb. Yeah. Maybe they can turn into an orb and float away. I've heard about that with aliens.
Right. Yeah.
And some people who work in MUFON.
Right. Yep.
Reports are, you know, that there'll be an orb and then poof, it will turn into an alien, or vice versa.
Right. Right.
But I've seen orbs while Bigfooting.
Right.
Sure.
Maybe they have that ability.
Maybe.
Don't know.
We don't know.
There you go.
Could you take a couple minutes and let people know how to stay in touch with you?
Sure.
Yeah.
I have a great group on Facebook. It's the Mid-Florida Bigfoot Research Group. And I also have a YouTube channel by the same name, Mid-Florida Bigfoot Research Group. And there I have, you can watch short research videos. Like, I don't do 30, 40-minute videos of myself walking in the woods talking about myself. Okay. We show you something specific.
Right.
You know, the videos are like a minute or less, maybe 2 minutes long. We're out in the woods. We just found this. We show you what we found. That's it. Right. Straight to the point.
Fantastic.
And then I have a website, midfloridabigfoot.com.
Okay.
There you can read about the team, the bios. You can look at our research gallery and see some of the weird stuff that we have found out there in Florida. And now I just joined Instagram. And again, Mid-Florida Bigfoot Research.
There you go.
Do you have an email if there's any people in your region that want to report things to you?
Sure, absolutely. On the website you can do it.
Okay.
But midfloridabigfoot@yahoo.com.
Fantastic.
Anybody can email me if they have a report, they want to ask me something, feel free.
Very good.
Awesome.
Well, it was good to see you guys again.
You
guys are awesome. It's so much fun.
It's great to talk to you again, and thank you so much for doing this with us.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for us today. So hope you guys enjoyed the show, and thank you again so much for all your love and support. Remember, if you want to follow the Paranormal Portal, probably the easiest way is to head over to paranormalportal.net, and that's the homepage for the Paranormal Portal, and you'll find links to all of our different social media and sites and information about the shows, including our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/paranormalportal, or just look for Paranormal Portal on Google or whatever search engine, and you'll find links to our social media such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. So we're kind of all over the place, and we're spreading as well as we can. But anyway, thank you so much for the love and support. Y'all take care, and remember, we love y'all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Until next time.
Well, the only time she really turned with that famous was when I rode across the creek and got down off the horse. She turned to look at me.